Welcome back. It has joined us to watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television. A reminder of our top stories. Armed bandits stormed Government Girls Secondary School in Zamfara State, abduct at least 5 people, attempt to gain access to students' hostel, foiled. House of Representatives raised concerns over what it terms worsening insecurity across the country, say executive not doing enough to check the space of killings. Court adjourns till May 8th hearing of appeal by the PDP candidates in the 2018 Osun State governorship election at Demola Adeleke in the case of alleged certificate forgery against him. And U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi accuses the country's Attorney General of lying about Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report on Russia's alleged election meddling in 2016. ChannelsTVcom has more information for you, and on youtube.com/channelsweb you can watch our videos. You can also watch us on your mobile device via your browser or download the Channels TV app for Android and iOS devices from their respective stores. Besides giving you access to news updates on the go, the Channels TV and Channels 24 app have an eyewitness feature that you can use to share pictures, videos, and news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu and follow the instructions. Concerned citizens and members of the Presidential Initiative for the Northeast are asking Nigerians to live in peace and harmony. A call comes on the heels of a visit of the group to Bolong community in Demsa local government area of Adamawa State, which recently came under attack by gunmen for the 7th time.
This is Bolong community in Demsa local government area of Adamawa State. The telltale signs of a recent attack on the farming community is still apparent. This is what has brought a group of concerned citizens along with the Presidential Initiative for the Northeast to visit the area. They have not come empty-handed. Food items, clothing and mosquito nets are to be distributed to the people. Members of the visiting team say it's time for the federal government to ensure the citizens are well secured.
I think we should just better learn to stay with one another as brothers and sisters, to plead with the government to do their own part and to plead with individuals and people. Because sometimes the youth that even come out to do some of these things, they might not really understand the implications of what they are doing. But to plead with our elites, our elders, and the leaders to see to it that the peaceful coexistence is the foundation for any development in any locality.
We prioritized widows, and then we prioritized the most vulnerable people, like the aged men and then women also.
The village head of Bolong appreciates the assistance from private individuals and the media for telling the world their story.
We thank God for His mercy, and we're grateful to journalists who have told the world about our problems. People are responding and providing assistance to us.
Bolong community's main occupation is farming and hunting, which has been their source of livelihood. This community has been attacked about 7 times, resulting in the death of many, including security personnel.
From the northeast to the north central, 2 people have died following a clash in Yeskwa community of Karu local government area in Nasarawa State. The incident has been confirmed by the Commissioner of Police, Nasarawa State Command, Mr. Bola Longe, while speaking to Channels Television in Lafia. He explained that the trouble began during a cultural event in the community, and the local masquerade flogged an Islamic cleric. It sparked outrage from the Hausa community, which also retaliated and ensured the conflict resulted in the death of 2 people.
Some supporters of the Islamic command that was flogged mobilized themselves, and they attacked some Yeskwa citizens, and in the process 1 person was killed, some people were injured, and those who were injured were rushed to the hospital, and eventually one of them died. When the police command was informed, we drafted police personnel to the community to bring in sanity.
We're shifting gears now to focus on Abuja, where Malpe Ogun Yusuf is standing by with more on the news at 10. Hi, Malpe.
Hello, Amarachi. Well, we're starting with some positive news from where you're coming from. The endless gridlock at Apapa in Lagos State has been a major traffic headache around that axis. But the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, is optimistic that it will be solved by the end of the year. Mr. Amechi's optimism for a solution is informed by the fact that when the Lagos-Ibadan rail track is completed, goods will then be transported by rail. The minister, who is speaking during the swearing-in of board members of the Nigerian Railway Corporation, called for a proper regulation that allows only trucks in good condition to access the Apapa seaport. He also warns the next Minister for Transportation not to slow down on railway projects.
Whoever becomes the Minister for Transport, don't slow us down with railways. It requires intensive action for us to be able to. Currently, we are doing Lagos-Ibadan, and our plan is that by the end of May, we should have finished the track up to Ibadan. Then we'll begin to do stations and communication. And we think by the end of the year, we should have finished. We are hoping that by the end of the year, we should be at MPA, at Apapa. That way, we have solved the problem of the gridlock once and for all. Because you'll be able to move your goods to the hinterland through the rail. So all those trucks that are parked there will have no reason to park at Apapa anymore, because there should not be any good for them to carry. And I think what MPA can do with railway is, at that point, you will now make regulation on the type of truck that can carry any type of good. Currently, they are holding us. There's a siege mentality. They'll bring useless trucks that will break down the road, and nobody can do anything. If you do anything, they say they're on strike, and they block the entire road.
And from transportation to journalism, the press should operate free of government control. These were the words of the acting counselor for public affairs of the U.S. Embassy at a global web chat and panel discussion at the Embassy in Abuja as part of activities to mark World Press Freedom Day 2019. With the theme, Reporting for Democracy, the role of a free press in elections, the global web chat featured renowned journalists Pt.2 of the Voice of America's Nightline Africa and journalism trainer and consultant Luchinda Fleeson. They and others emphasized the role of journalists in protecting the citizen from disinformation, as well as the role of citizens in verifying news sources.
In a democracy, the press operates freely from government control. Democratic governments don't regulate, mediate coverage or the activities of journalists. Democracies don't vet journalists, require their licensing, and the state does not force them to parrot government positions. In return, news media must provide people with accurate, factual, and verified information that they need to wisely choose their rulers, to develop their voice, and to maintain their freedom.
And now to the health sector. In Oyo State, southwestern Nigeria, experts are seeking ways to end the global burden of tuberculosis. In Nigeria, it's not cheering news, as drug-resistant tuberculosis has been on the increase with devastating consequences. This next report takes a look at the incidences and prevalence of TB with focus on Oyo State.
Tuberculosis, TB, is a disease that is caused by a bacterium. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, in 2016, an estimated 10.4 million new cases were recorded, resulting in 1.7 million deaths, with over 90% of the cases occurring in low and middle-income countries that have fragile health care. Tuberculosis is an airborne disease spread from person to person
animal to person or person to animals via coughing, sneezing, or contact with spittle. Cattle is one of the most potent sources of TB. This is what prompted the Oyo State government to relocate all butchers to a central abattoir where wholesome meat could be made available to the public. And recent survey shows that Oyo, which used to be third among high TB burden states, has moved to 13th, and efforts have been intensified to even bring it lower.
You will observe that the processing along the value chain to the market has to be handled by human beings. Hence, the importance of what we are doing here, which is the screening of all butchers for tuberculosis.
Our vision and mission is to make this place a reference point. The real journey is ensuring best practices.
Experts have discovered that the interaction between herders and cattle has contributed largely to the growing rate of TB infection.
Currently, TB is the #1 killer disease. It's overtaking HIV. Humans can also be infected through infected animals, either by consumption of unpasteurized milk or consumption of undercooked meat and meat products. And that's why it's paramount that we should bring this to the notice of these people. Most of them are uneducated. They have been involved in this trade and they think nothing can happen to them.
A TB patient who has been treated and fully recovered narrated her experience.
I've been in and out of the hospital, but help came, respite came in 2010. And I would just like to encourage those that have this. It's not the end of the world actually, and it is very curable. If you can only adhere to your drugs. Well, the challenges, there are side effects of the drugs like deafness sometimes. I had a little with it, but I'm fine now.
Approximately 1/3 of the world's population carry the disease but don't have any symptoms if it remains latent. However, approximately 10% of those people will likely develop the active disease during their lifetime. Regular medical checks and early presentation is key to treating and reducing the spread of one of the world's deadly but treatable diseases. Bukola Oriowo, Channels Television News.
When the news at 10 returns, International Monetary Fund Director for Africa asks Nigeria to focus on dual approach to infrastructure policy and energy provision for more economic inclusion. That's on Business News. Do join us again.